Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Om Shri Brahmane Namaha. It's indeed a great joy to gather together here for 5 evenings and send our thoughts in the direction of the sublime teachings of this Gita, the song celestial, the great spiritual wisdom as given by Lord Shri Krishna himself. In this great campus where every minute there is pursuit of knowledge, we are here to pursue spiritual knowledge. Traditionally, the spiritual truth has been regarded as the highest knowledge. It is called as the Paravidya, the higher knowledge, while all knowledge related to the mundane life has been considered the lower knowledge, called in Sanskrit as the Apara Vidya. However, mere books will not make higher knowledge. Mere stanzas or verses or most wonderful structures of words will not make the higher knowledge. The words of Gita or Bible by themselves do not make for spirituality. So what exactly is higher knowledge then, if it is not words? Surely the words are mere pointers. Volumes and volumes have been written and will be written on spiritual matters. However, the spiritual truth proper is the very simple existence of everyone. Who are we? Every one of us needs to ask, who am I? The truth of this I within every person is the real spiritual theme. If we do not know ourselves and go about a whole lot of activities in life, how ridiculous it is indeed. Who are we is indeed a very profound question. Vast majority of human beings don't even bother to ask this question. But even those of us who do ask this question find it hard to appreciate the full significance of this very fundamental issue of our own identity. Spirituality is a great exploration into this identity of one's own. To discover our true nature is the final goal of all spirituality. In our Vedas, the ancient foundation scriptures of India, there is a very interesting story where a certain disciple, student, meets with an eminent spiritual teacher and a dialogue takes place between them. The teacher asks, "My dear boy, where are you?" And the boy says, the young fellow says, "Well, sir, I am in front of you." The teacher asks, "What do you mean, in front of me?" "Sir, I am in this little hut, this cottage." "Oh, okay. Where is this cottage?" The student says, "This cottage is in this forest." The great spiritual teachers, in those days at least, were more in forests. We don't know why. Let's not go into that question. "This cottage is in such and such forest." "All right. Where is this forest?" "This forest," the student replies, "is in such and such country." And it goes on. The country is in such a continent, and that finally is on earth. And where is earth? Well, earth is in space. And where is space? That's hard to answer. But the student thinks over it again and says, "Well, space is perceived by us through our mind. So space is in our mind. Where is mind?" And the student says, "Well, the mind is in me. The mind is in me." Again, "Where are you?" That's where it all began. I am in the cottage is in the forest, and so on. Space is in me, in the mind is in me. And where am I? He cannot again say, "I am in the cottage." The I with which he began was the body, obviously. But the I where he finally arrived was something far deeper. Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji put all these ideas in the form of a simple and beautiful chart, which is there right in front of you, and showed that every one of us, no doubt, has a body, a mind, and an intellect. However, there is more to us than these BMI. In the unconscious level of ourselves, there are hidden habitual tendencies, the Sanskrit word for them being vasanas, we. And even those unconscious hidden tendencies are not the ultimate about us. Behind even those hidden tendencies, unmanifest tendencies, is life itself, which traditionally is symbolized as Om. That is the self, that is the pure spirit, and this pure spirit enlivens our personality. So here is our personality, which is very obvious to us, very evident to us. However, behind the personality there is something to be discovered, and that is the true self. Self, normally written in literature with a capital S, called in Sanskrit as the One. All spirituality is to do with the Atman, the self, as we said before, our true identity. Interestingly, I learned that in Latin, the word persone means a mask. So the person that we are, the personality that we are, is a mere mask. We are wearing masks. Our children wear a mask on Halloween. We wear all 365 days. And spirituality is to unmask ourselves, to find out who is there behind all these masks. We have apparently many masks. We put up many a facade as we interact with others. We, as we interact with others, put up many a show and sometimes deceive them too. But very tragic from a spiritual point of view is we are constantly deceiving ourselves. Saints and sages tell us that we better stop deceiving ourselves. We better know ourselves and not imagine ourselves to be something else. These 5 evenings here, we have before us the Bhagavad Gita, the divine song, in which again we have selected a portion in the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter is very long really. We have 47 stanzas in it. But there again we choose 23 stanzas. For these 23 stanzas, namely 10th through 32nd, deal with the very fascinating topic of meditation. Meditation has become a very popular word. Everybody wants to meditate. Sometimes I wonder whether people are looking at it as a shortcut. Do anything 23.5 hours a day and then half an hour meditate, then you can be at peace, you can be free from all conflict. So they come over and ask also, please teach us meditation. 23.5 hours, let them be there as they are, as though I am not really saying that that is the motive, that is the approach of everybody, but we like to pull people's legs a little bit sometimes. People are sincere too. People are ready. In fact, every one of us is very ready to change ourselves entirely. But we don't know how. We don't know where we are going wrong. We only know that there is conflict, there is agitation, there is some unrest, there is this dissatisfaction that we have not reached, we have not arrived. Where? Somewhere we were supposed to arrive. That also is not clear. We don't know the destination, but we have surely a vague idea of some inner state, of some inner, let us say, way of being, such that as we go through life's situations, we are not made miserable. Every one of us really wishes to contribute, wishes to give, wishes to smile, act and serve. Who would not want to be a very cheerful, giving person? However, time and again we find that we have our needs, our demands, and in various ways we feel inadequate. When there is poverty within, how can we stretch our hands? How can we extend help to others when we ourselves are suffering? So, what is this suffering? Why is there this suffering? Then we say, perhaps by regular meditation there would be no suffering. There would be peace. So meditation is looked at by large numbers of people these days as a means to peace. I want peace of mind. And let me know what is that sequence of thinking, what is that form of concentration, what is that object about which I need to think continuously, or do I have to utter some mantra, some sound? Do I have to do some regular exercises of breathing probably, or purely mental, whatever? how can I gain peace? How can I become a truly loving person? I don't want to hate, I don't want to fret and fume, I don't want to dislike anybody. I want to be in harmony. Every one of us feels so. How? There is the big question, how? Meditation, that seems to offer a lot of hope to us. And therefore we have chosen this topic, meditation, in theory and in practice. With this framework of the Gita, we are going to dwell on this topic of meditation. I understand that the word medit in yet another language has the meaning to heal. Medit means to heal. So there is a wound in us, or there is some sickness in us, and we want to be cured, we want to be healed, and meditation is supposed to do that. So thus, meditation is supposed to bring to us perfect health. Perfect health in its entirety or in the fullness of its meaning. Not just physical health, but somewhere deep within we are most healthy, most normal, feeling totally okay. And thus meditation is to give to us our natural being. After all, isn't it interesting that in English the word you have for a form of sickness is disease. And what is disease? From a state of ease you somehow slipped and fell, and that is disease. So from disease we want to get back to ease. We want to feel at ease. So will meditation help? We have great hopes there. I can assure you that yes, it does help, it has to help, but the whole problem is to understand what real meditation is, what the real treatment is. Lord Shri Krishna, not only here really speaking, all through the Gita, gives to Arjuna a psychological treatment. Gita is a powerful attitudinal healing. Sri Arjuna, the prince who happened to be in a particular challenging situation of having to fight a battle against his own relations, own teachers and so on, was surely in tremendous amount of conflict. And the Lord points out that the conflict is not so much because of the outer situation, it's because of certain inner identifications. You have certain inner attachments, and I want to throw light on the nature of those attachments, helping you to re-examine that whole perspective. And if you can change the perspective, then the very same outer situation, which was a formidable challenge before, now is a grand opportunity to bring more fulfillment to you. Sri Krishna assures Arjuna that this hard or tough work before you can be looked as a wonderful chance for you to develop yourself and to bring deeper meaning in life itself. And Arjuna's situation applies very well to all of us in all situations that we meet with. All through the Gita, therefore, as I said, Sri Krishna teaches Arjuna about better attitudes, better approaches, and let me tell you, meditation is a consolidation of that very new insight, new perspective, new approach. I often define meditation in a simple language of my own, that meditation is a matter of going high and staying high. It may be a bit crude language and it may have some other connotations, I don't mean them. Go high and stay high. How do you go high? You see, you are caught up in some egoistic perspective. The I, me and my. How could they be unkind to me? I did so much for them and they are ungrateful. Or how could the world be cruel to me? And so on and so forth. The me and my comes before us and we are stuck there. It is like a little prison in which we have put ourselves, and we need to rise above that me and my. From a narrow angle of view, we want to take a broader angle of view. So as we rise above all narrow considerations, we find that there is really no problem. We get to see the best that can be done in a situation, and then our concern is just to do that. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji always said to us, in any situation, do the best and leave the rest, he said. Find out what is the best possible and then just do it. He put his wisdom in very many simple statements which are so helpful to us in critical circumstances. Another which I may quote quickly is about dealing with various challenges and achieving things as the secret of success. He said once, plan out your work out your plan. The two-step secret of all success. Once you have planned, this is what I am going to do, then just work it out. Plan out your work out your plan. So here is the topic of meditation. And what is this meditation? It is a self-therapy. It is a self-advice. So we say to ourselves, we bring to ourselves a higher vision and then stay in that vision. To make it clear, a simple example can be given. One of the forms of meditation is, as is very popular, meditation on Lord, meditation on God, meditation on that supreme intelligence which various religions have called as God, the ruler, the one that created, that sustains, and that carries on all the affairs of the world in whatever way you may approach it, personal, impersonal, with form, without form, as a law, as a lawgiver, as father, or whatever. There is this God, and in popular religion one meditates on God. What actually happens when one meditates on God? One strengthens in oneself the thought, I am a servant of God. I am an instrument of God. I am subject to God's command, God's plans, and so on. A humility is invoked within ourselves. I, as having everything in my own hands, was the picture before. And because of that attitude, that everything is in my hands, the situation became so hard. The pressure was so heavy. Now, as I think of Lord, as I accept God's power, God's ability, or God's nature to rule over everything, the I, me and my becomes less. So, In popular religion, everywhere, people have been meditating, just taking the name of the Lord or a mantra, Om, or Om Namah Shivaya, and so on. Sometimes one could take some inspiring messages, inspiring ideas, and send the mind over those ideas. So, there are certain thoughts in the mind. In place of those thoughts, you are bringing your own chosen thoughts consciously. You are thus engineering your own mind. Meditation is mind management. Meditation is totally to do with the mind. As we are going to see the stanzas here, we shall of course be seeing that Sri Krishna touches upon issues of how to sit, where to sit, and so on. The body's position, the body's posture, of course, are all talked about, but ultimately meditation is to do with the mind. I often say that it is mind and beyond mind. You purify the mind, then you go beyond the mind. At this point, to say beyond mind may be beyond your mind. What does he mean by that? That line is beyond my mind. Some of you might be already saying and grinning within yourself. That's acceptable. Mind and beyond mind. I shall explain what it is, what it means slowly. Meditation is mind management. Next time you see those candies, M&M, think of meditation. Mind and its management. M and M. I wonder what M&M really are. Probably I thought, while talking to some teenagers 2 weeks ago in Toronto, it struck me that maybe M&M, the candies, stand for mind and mind. When two friends, two teenagers get together and share a pack of M&M candies, probably it symbolizes your mind and my mind go together so well. Let's eat this. So you could apply it on very many planes. Mind and mind, M&M. Now back from M&M to Gita, to meditation, mind management. So go high and stay high. To be more precise, really speaking, to go high, you need to study. And meditation is staying high. In the classical Vedanta, the traditional Vedantic system, we talk about a threefold spiritual practice: Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. These are the traditional Sanskrit words. Shravana means listening. For in olden days, students gathered around a sage, a teacher, and listened. There were obviously not much stationery, PCs, etc. were of course not available. So they had to listen directly. Shravana. Interestingly, now again you are going back to paperless dealings. From paperless, pure Shravana, the whole world became full of paper. Now it is all becoming paperless again. Probably after some time, this watching the screen also won't be there, email. It would be more and more listening only. Directly to, it might happen. Then again Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. I believe already there are many Vedanta study groups on the internet and so on. If you make it audio after some time with all your speech recognition and speech synthesizer and whatnot, it will again become Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. From paperless to papery and then again paperless. Anyway, Shravana literally means listening, and it stands for acquiring some new insights, new information, study. So when you study, you say, hey, I never thought about life in this way, I never thought about myself in this way. Got a new idea. But then there may be some doubts. But how can that be? Is it possible to be selfless? This is all wonderful ideas but not practical, utopian. How can we be truly selfless? If we are selfless, if we are thinking about God, if we are thinking about others, people would just walk over us. We will become the doormats for everybody. So we have doubts. We have for a while enjoyed the teachings of scriptures, of saints, but then there are doubts. I wonder how to implement this. Probably make millions, sit comfortably, then become selfless. That works out better. A steady monthly income, suppose, is there, then become selfless. But to be selfless right in beginning looks hard. So whatever, in various ways, the beautiful, inspiring, appealing ideas of scripture which you gather on the first stage called Shravana bring some doubts. You find it hard to accept as they are. Then the scriptures have said you got to do manana. Manana is you reflect over them. You work more over them. You work out, you do the homework and see that yes, it is possible. It is possible with more clarity. So you gathered information, the first stage, and you gained clarity. You are clear about its practicality, how exactly to do it. Then manana is over, second stage. Study and reflection are over. Now there is this issue of how to stay there. For even though you are so clear, the whole tendencies come back again and again. Somehow all your resolves just dissolve and you are back to the old way of I, me and my first. I heard that Muslim or some dictator, when a great battle was raging between two countries, and when some of his friends said, come on, why all this violence? Please stop this war. He said, I am ready for stopping the war anytime. Anytime you tell me, I will stop the war if they accept defeat. If the other side accepts defeat, that day I will stop the war. In that way, this me first is a tendency in us which comes very strongly. Habits die hard indeed, it is said. People, teachers illustrate this even through the spelling of habit, H-A-B-I-T. You remove H, A bit remains. Remove A, bit remains. Remove B, it remains. My God, H-A-B-I-T, try to remove one by one. A bit, and then it remains. It's a very nice illustration indeed. You remove I, the E, then T, truth remains. If you remove the... But that is a word game. How do you do it actually? Study. Get in touch with those who have done it. Get in touch with those who in them have that selflessness, have that unconditional love. Observe them. After all, scriptures are what those sages have said, what those saints have said. So, through books and preferably through direct contact, if we are fortunate enough, through direct contact with somebody who not only has book knowledge but is living such a loving life, selfless life, peaceful life, conflict-free life, we can understand, oh, this is how habits die. So, I have studied, I have gained clarity, but my habits are so powerful. That is where meditation comes. Through study and reflection, I am able to lift my... And in meditation, I am not creating anything new, but in this new insight, I stabilize myself. I make myself more stable. Here is a very inspiring idea. I have understood this. And somehow there is difficulty in constantly remembering it. So, even in a so-called formal meditation, for some time every day, maybe 20 minutes every morning, or 30 minutes every evening, whatever, or during your lunch break, wherever, we shall be saying that formal ideas of a fixed time, a fixed place and fixed way and so on are not so important, though they do have a place. They do have some importance, but they should not be overemphasized. So you bring beautiful ideas which have appealed to your heart at fixed intervals, and that changes, obviously, is very easy to see, that changes the texture of your thoughts. As you think, so you become, goes the saying. As the thought, so the man. So if thoughts are purified by this constant pouring in of selected divine thoughts, then the man changes, the woman changes, the person changes. And in a purified thought pattern, the peace within shines forth without any hindrance. There is peace within, there is peace in others too. There is ability to love in us, which is cloud. Just do not appear to be worthy. I cannot ever like him. I cannot ever like. In this way it appears. So there is some screen before others. There is some screen in front of ourselves, and meditation is to remove these screens. Meditation is to arrive at some such state within where we first of all accept ourselves. If we accept ourselves, then there is this opening of tremendous ability to accept others. If I look down at myself, it will be very hard for me to look equally at everybody. So self-acceptance and acceptance of others is made possible by regular meditation. So, as I said, to be precise, meditation is what follows study and reflection. However, for simplicity we say meditation is going high and staying high. Lord Sri Krishna speaks about meditation in the 6th chapter not without reason. If meditation were a very important topic, he could have or he should have gone into it right away in the 2nd chapter. He could have told Arjuna right there, come on, close your eyes, I will give you a mantra, chant that so many times, and then that's it, you lift the bow and start the battle. But Sri Krishna is a wonderful teacher. In 4 chapters before this, he built up a lot of healthy attitudes. He did a lot of work on the very way Arjuna sees the present situation, or life itself for that matter. I and you also will find that if we simply go for a mantra, simply go for some wonderful passage, and simply go for some technique from somewhere and say that I am going to meditate and change myself, it's very, very hard. A whole lot of cleansing needs to be done within ourselves. That is how a lot of meditation is not successful, because a lot of preparation is not done. So it's an arduous journey indeed. However, the more we get clarity about all this, we shall be able to fill up all the gaps, tie up all the loose ends. It is surely a very complex affair. Though to generate interest and to make ourselves feel good, sometimes we oversimplify meditation. We say it is very simple. But actually when you do it, it's very hard. It's very simple in some ways, it's very complex in some other ways. A nuclear bomb, let us say fission bomb, it's very simple to say. It's nothing, you just split the nucleus, that's it. So much energy will be released. Oh really, that's all. You write a diagram, just that's all that needs to be done. This nucleus having so many protons and neutrons needs to be split, and so much energy will be released. So the basic block diagram or some diagram is very easy. In the same way we say, meditation, you clean up all the vasanas. Once you are without any vasanas, you are straight at home. That is with Om. So just it is you have to. So you may feel very tempted to walk up to the stage and peel that V off. You may do it, but right within, how to remove so many tendencies, so many identifications, so many notions. So that is how we are perceiving, that's how we are seeing. What is more, we see things in a certain way and we want to see things in a certain way. We are attached. Other day a lady came up to me and said, I have this problem, I am worrying and worrying. What are you worrying about? I asked. I am worrying about why I worry so much. This is interesting. So, why do I have such a worrying nature? Is her worry. So there's a 2-tier system, and probably if you go into it, there are many tiers, many levels. So in the same way, we have notions and then we have value for our notions. We have value for a number of opinions that we have in our intellect. We have great value for a number of emotions that we have in our mind, and we have great value or attachment to a number of perceptions that we gain through the body. Sense perceptions through the body, emotional activities on the level of the mind, and opinions, ideologies, viewpoints on the level of the intellect, on B, M and I, are very dear to us. We don't want to change. On one hand we say we want to change, on the other we say we don't want. There is this problem. On one hand you are pressing the gas pedal, and the other you are also pressing the brakes. What would it be? What a strange situation it would be. It's a contradiction. We don't want to change. We go to a guru and we would be very glad if the guru approves everything that we are doing. If the guru says, you must change, you must stop this, and you must do this, it makes very uncomfortable. We don't want. At least our primary attachments should be left untouched. They are sensitive areas. Many times the ego in us works in that way. We only want an approval. Other day I read some great man has said, when people come to me for any advice, I find out what advice they need and just give it to them. He spends a little 10 minutes finding out what advice they would be happy to hear. That is his for 10 minutes. And then he just gives it to them. Chalo, be happy. God bless you, and so on. Successful. He must have been a very successful, popular guru. But if one needs to be free from conflict, one needs to be ready for change, and that's not so easy. One needs to be very attentive, very open, very alert, very flexible. Therefore, meditation requires a great opening within ourselves. So, the idea is, in 4 chapters, and later on also, Sri Krishna touches upon attitudinal changes. For one by one, if our attitudes, let us say, become a little flexible, maybe some opinions may be right. All right, if the opinions are right, stick to them. But if the opinions are found to be wrong, are we ready to let go of those opinions? Many times we are not. So it's not that you got to change everything. No. The issue is how flexible are you, how open are you, or how rigid and holding on to something are you, is the question. In 23 stanzas, Lord Sri Krishna, in this selected portion, touches upon very elementary and even secondary ideas, as well as very advanced and primary ideas of meditation. We start from the 10th verse of this 6th chapter. I hope more and more will bring their books in subsequent classes, and it is such a nice thing really for everybody to sing these verses. So we have Malika here who will sing every verse, and I request everybody to repeat after her. She splits into 4 parts so that it's easy. Those without book also can repeat really, and we see the meanings of these. Let us get ready to walk with Sri Krishna as he shows to us wonderful possibilities of this meditation. 10th verse. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Yogi yunjita satatam Atmanam rahasi stitaha Ekaki yata chittatma Nirashira parigraha. This first verse in our selection is a call that Sri Krishna gives out to everybody, to every spiritual seeker. Yogi yunjita satatam. Yunjita is a spiritual seeker, meditate, should literally unite his mind with the self. In the form of the chart we can say the mind which otherwise runs out towards OET, objects, emotions and thoughts. As I said, our pet objects, our favorite emotions, our very dear opinions, objects, emotions and thoughts. Our mind needs to be withdrawn and united with the self, with the Om. Satatam yunjita. A spiritual seeker cannot afford to just dreamily live, just go with whatever thought comes to his mind. Rather, exercising alertness, that's all there is to it really. He needs to see what is behind that thought. You see, thought is energy, mental energy. Mental energy forms into a particular, that is thought. And following that pattern, we could have further patterns building up, or as the call is given here, the pattern could dissolve and you could stay as the pure awareness. Om is pure awareness. As we go through these stanzas, we shall slowly make the idea of Om clearer and clearer. Little by little, we shall give pointers. I am now saying, Om, the true self, is pure awareness. Thought, an energy pattern, belongs to the mind. That energy pattern, suppose, likes the objects which have come under its purview, can grow further, and then it becomes a maze of thoughts. One thought leading to another. Like many a river starts as a trickle and very soon is such a vast, strong flow of large volumes of water. Our mind too begins as a single thought and very soon is such a complex thought structure By saying yogi yunjita satatam atmanam, Sri Krishna is saying, as you become a true spiritual seeker, you are not going to just follow the thought, rather you turn back and, figuratively it is said, unite it with the self. I will be throwing more light on this as we go further. It is being attentive. You observe the thought. You watch the thought. Don't ride on the thought, yet instead you watch the thought and let the thought, as you watch, fall into its proper place. Let the energy pattern fall into what we may call as an objective, realistic mode. Otherwise, fancifulness comes about. Thus, personal likes and dislikes come about. Otherwise, various attachments and aversions come about. The I, me and my, I shall repeat this again and again, is a construction of thought only. We say the ego. What is an ego? We say the ego is a thought. The ego is no other than a thought. It's a primary thought, but it is the center of many other thoughts. There is this ego formation, and here Sri Krishna is giving a call. Let us, rather than building upon the ego, let us go in the opposite direction and stay as the Om. So, direction, outward, inward, these are figurative words. In more precise terms, as the ego is formed, you exercise greater attention. As a certain prestige conscience about, how could he say that about me? Does he know who I am? And so on, let us say. I am the great grandson of such a famous person. Let us say some kind of prestige, family background, many times basking in reflected glory, let us say. As that rises, it's likely to build up further, but I say, wait a minute, I watch and I see, I gain objectivity and I see that what he said is true. Sometimes, to give a very simple example, suppose I say 2 plus 3 is 8 and all of you laugh. What an unkind audience. I may get angry. If I am carried away by personal emotions, I get very disturbed. But in quiet observing, why are they laughing? What did I say? Oh, I said 2 plus 3 is 8. I might be very scholarly, very eminent, I might be very many things otherwise. But it so happens that this statement which I made now is utterly wrong. Is a very, very ridiculous thing to say. 2 plus 3 is 8. Therefore, there is no build-up. Now, meditation is such an alertness, such an attention all along, all through the day's life. However, in a formal sitting being helpful to set up this undercurrent of observation all through the day. In a formal sitting, there is nobody else giving a stimulus, either annoying you or pleasing you, for both could happen. In a formal, exclusive sitting, you are all by yourself. Your own mind, out of memory, throws up various ideas. Doesn't matter. Even as memory builds up that ego, we have the option either to build up further or to quietly observe, stay as the observing consciousness. Then facts remain, fancies go away. To stay with facts and to leave out all fancies is another aspect of the one thing called meditation. Sri Krishna says, practice this alertness. Face yourself time and again, and as you face yourself with all patience, let various egoistic build-ups dissolve, and then you learn to be just yourself. The pure self is just yourself. The pure self need not be looked at as some mystical entity. It is yourself as you are. So you learn to be yourself. Otherwise, through the thoughts and the maze that they build, you are never yourself. You are always as the thoughts have constructed you. You are all having a mask. You are always, and you are deceiving yourself. You already have, I am this, I am that. As I gave the example, I am the great grandson of some great celebrity the world knows. This I am so and so has come up, and I have lost sight of my basic existence. The pure I am, period. This may be an abstract line at present for especially beginners or newcomers, but I shall be saying that there is this basic existence, I am, and that is this Om. Om is I am. Om is I am aware. I exist, I am aware. In Sanskrit the words for that are I am is Sat and I am aware is Chit. Many of you have heard the expression, reality is Sat Chit Ananda. Sachidananda. That is often name of some persons also. Sachidananda. I am supposed to be Chidananda. My name I forgot. So, Chidananda. I am almost there. I have to get a little Sat now. Sat Chit Ananda. So, that is a very Vedantic name. Sat is you are. Don't say you are grandson of somebody. That is a qualification, a description. That has relative validity. It should not sit on you heavily all time. If anything sits on you heavily all time, unshakably, then you are in trouble. It's a bondage. We should be able to tear apart all ideas that we have about ourselves, and in that totally, let's say, denuding ourselves, if I may indulge in a figurative expression, there is the experience of Om. Yogi yunjita satatam. So let's not stick to any description. Stay as the pure awareness, Sat, Chit, and Ananda is peace, that is joy. And Rahasi Stitaha. Now let me tell you briefly. Tonight itself we will have 10 or 12 minutes for some interaction. Rahasi Stitaha. Not only this expression, Rahasi Stitaha, which literally means sitting in a secluded spot. Rahas, secret place. Go away behind some tree. Or in olden days, in a cave. And so on. By a river. Nobody knows where you are. And so on. Or in your own house with door bolted. Rahasi Stitaha. That is the literal direct meaning. And you could employ or you could apply that. The literal meanings here and some other places also in these stanzas is applicable, is acceptable, but the literal meaning is not the most important meaning. We have to see what is occasion. I would say sitting in a secluded spot, sitting in secrecy, etc., is to signify an attitude of not making meditation a public affair. It's not for others to know. It's not for others to recognize, hey, what a regular meditator he is, and so on. More than making it a public affair, while we need not be afraid of others watching it, there has to be a sense of, it is, I am facing myself, and this is a private issue. If others come to know, it's fine. Rahasi Stitaha. Face yourself. See, when you are in a secluded spot, you are facing yourself, aren't you? If you are by the river or on the hill or in a cave, then no company, nobody to approve or disapprove any of your ideas, nobody to add to your emotions or bring your emotions. No, you are with yourself. So I would give a little modern interpretation, which I am confident is very much in line with this Sri Krishna's basic teaching. Rahasi sthitaha is face yourself, be with yourself. Ekaki, that further confirms, all alone. Yes, I am totally with myself. My wife also is totally with herself, and together we meditate. What did you say? I am alone, she is alone, and together we are there. Then, not really ekaki. Again, here also literally doesn't mean, so we should take 2 rooms here onwards. No. You need not take literally, but the spirit. You may be sitting with your spouse, you may be sitting in a group, but how is your inner spirit, inner feeling? Are you really facing yourself? Or are you, through your own visualization, through your own imagery, building a duality? Building means building takes place, encouraging, adding to it further. In our imagery, we could, further and further encourage these various forms of psychological dependence. This is a very tricky issue. So we may jump to the conclusion, I see, all right, here onward I am not going to be dependent on anybody. I am in for it, Swamiji. I am going to meditate now. I am going to walk it alone now, and so on. It's not by deciding, it's not by resolving, but it is, once more I may say, it is by observing your dependence. That dependence goes away. Not by deciding to be independent. If you decide to be independent, what's going to happen? You will have more conflict. Because you will say, I have decided to be independent, but in practice you will see that you are dependent, and then there is the pain. My God, I am so dependent. You won't be able to accept yourself. You won't be able to accept yourself, because what I should have been and what I am have such contrast now. So it's not so much a matter of resolving or deciding, but you become aware, ekaki. As you sit, literally you may be alone, as the word means, ekaki means alone. Or you may not be literally alone, you are somebody else, a friend, a colleague, a spouse, or anyone may be there. But you become extra aware, very aware of various forms of emotional, psychological dependence, and by noticing it, not fueling it further, you take real valid steps. You take real steps towards gaining that ekakitva, that solitude, that inner solitude, that inner independence. Yatatma, next word. With body and mind controlled. Chitta is mind and Atma here means body. Body and mind well controlled. Of course, one needs great amount of control. This control again is more out of understanding, more out of watchfulness, not a very dogged determination. Control. With controlled body and mind. Nirashihi. Ashihi means desire. Here I would say desire is in the sense of some anticipation, some rosy anticipation, some wonderful flowery thought. This will happen, that will happen. So what happens then, you see, if you are encouraging desire in yourself, ashihi, then you are no more at the present moment. You have, through imagination, moved to a future situation. Meditation again and again is learning to be here and be now. To be in the here and now is meditation. And to entertain a desire, I shall do this, then this will happen. That's very nice. I hope it will happen fast, or whatever. To desire something, look at the nature of desire, is to move away from here and now. Nirashihi. Planning, desiring may be necessary at times. In a lot of times it is necessary. But here is the exercise called meditation, where for a change you say, let me see what happens if I don't desire. Later on, yes, you need to desire, you need to plan. If you totally stop planning and desiring, life will come to a halt. That's not the idea. But in the name of it being necessary, constantly we people have been planning and desiring, and that is a great injustice to ourselves. Nirashihi is withdrawing the mental energy from futuristic, fanciful imagination. For a change at least. When you reach the bottom, you reach the substrate, you reach your true nature, then when you desire, when you plan, there is a totally different quality about it, because you got a hold on the depth in you, and with that hold you plan, you become a great contributor. But if you are caught in this constant planning and fancying only, you have lost the grip over the core in yourself. Meditation is to discover the core. So discover, hold on to it, then do plan. You need to plan. Aparigraha, we shall examine more tomorrow. Aparigraha basically means with no concern about various properties, possessions, various things you possess, without worrying about your possessions. Though literally it means with no possessions. Donate away everything to Chinmaya Mission and meditate. Or Salvation Army. Even you have hopes for your own salvation. No, you don't have to. That will be a responsible act. No. But examine, are you so concerned about possessions and various acquisitions? Then that's a problem. So by becoming aware, it reduces, and then you are aparigraha. We have some time tonight now for some questions. Tomorrow I shall try to give more. Are there some questions? I propose to have 5 to 10 minutes of meditation every night. If tonight there are no questions, we will meditate for 5 minutes. That's easier. If you think it is just closing the eyes, it will be easy. But it's more. Alright, let us close our eyes and going by what we just now discussed, let us face ourselves. Here are some thoughts in every one of us. Let's become aware of our thoughts. Let's pay attention to the way thoughts build up. Let's ask the question, am I building it up or is it building up by itself? As there are thoughts, am I identifying with them or am I merely witnessing them? Let's try to become aware of the entire structure of our thinking. I don't mean any analysis. Just like if you were to observe a flower quietly, without even uttering a single word, without even identifying, oh, this is rose, and so on. No. Without uttering a word, if you were to hold a flower in your hand and just see it in its entirety, it's a very different thing. In the same way, there are some thoughts in you, whatever they may be. Become the observer, the very quiet observer. Do not judge some thought as bad and try to suppress it. Do not judge some other thought as great and grand and pursue it further. So please see, you are not trying to do anything. You are not trying to pursue. You are not trying to suppress. But you want to see fully. So you are not inactive. You are active. You are very alert. You want to see the thought fully. So for a couple of minutes, I shall not speak now. Let us to see our thoughts without either encouraging any or discouraging any. It is really good to take small steps in the right direction. This exercise may look overly simple or abstract, but this exercise of watching your mind can be very helpful. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi